What's up, guys, and welcome to episode number 2 of the JP Racing YouTube channel. We're gonna get it popping today. Got a lot of stuff we gotta do. Been on vacation. Gonna do clutch on this Yami today. Guy brought 2 skis, but this thing is shot. So we're gonna start with doing a clutch on this 09 FX Cruiser. We gotta get the ski off of there onto here, and then onto that trailer, that single trailer, because we got to tilt it backwards to do the clutch. So this is basically a little contraption we made ourselves. Get a Wench from eBay, pretty cheap. Get a battery hooked up to it. This battery's been on here for a while, so it's dead. So I got a little charger on it. But basically what this is gonna do, it's gonna allow me to not break my back while I work on the ski. Alright, now with this done, I'm out of the way. Pick this up on our dolly. Oh damn, this one's heavy. Oh, there it is. So we could just move this guy out the way. Looks like I bent that one. No way, for real? Let's see what he's talking about. So you threw this off the truck and nothing broke. It didn't crack. This thing is junk. Alright, so the main reason I take off the ski from the double trailer and transfer it over to my single trailer, because when you do a clutch on these, you have to tilt the ski backwards. If not, oil will come flying out of the front of the motor. So like I said, this is a 2009 Yamaha FX Cruiser. Has a SHO engine in it. So we're gonna be removing the supercharger, all of this air intake stuff, all that's coming out in order so we can get to the clutch on the bottom. So that's gonna be fun today. All right, so this is the new clutch that we're gonna be installing. Everything is brand new. I never use used parts for that, you know, there's no point doing that. This one also is gonna have a new mid gear put in because they changed the style of the supercharger, so it has to have this gear also as well. And with this little spacer piece here as well. So I'm gonna get all my tools ready and organize everything and get everything going for you guys. Alright guys, you're gonna need a couple tools for this one. Obviously we have our Milwaukee ratchet, my favorite tool. You're gonna need a 14 mil wrench, 12 mil wrench. You're also gonna need an assortment of sockets, including a 12, 10, 7, and a 14. All these will be used in different combinations to try to get everything out that we need to get out. So we're gonna start with this charge pipe and the air intake filter system. It's pretty much in the way of everything. So we're gonna start with that, get that off of here, and try to get this done quickly today. All right, so first thing you're gonna grab is your 7 mil, and you're gonna take off the charge pipe. All right, with those two pieces off, you get a little bit better view. This is the supercharger here, and this is the inlet to the intercooler. We're gonna go ahead and remove these bolts here. This is a bracket that holds the intercooler to the motor. So these are 14 mils. We're gonna start that. That will give us better access to the supercharger down here. All right, so we ran into our first little issue. Looks like this supercharger shaft has been replaced, and they put an aftermarket Riva shaft in it, which indicates this oil line here. So I removed the air box, and you could see just how rusted this. And we're gonna keep on going with the disassembly of this charger. All right, so the next tools you're gonna need is your Milwaukee. You're gonna need a 12 and a 10 mil to get the main bolts that hold the supercharger down onto the motor. All right guys, as you can see, we have the supercharger out of where it is located. Quick way to check to see if your clutch is bad once you have the charger out is here's your mid gear right here. So all you're gonna do is, if it spins both ways, see how it spins one way, spins the other way, that means that that clutch is completely shot. So we are definitely on the right track for what we have to replace on this ski. And I'll show you guys the charger. Like I said, it does have a Riva shaft, as you can see there. So this charger has been upgraded with a different impeller shaft, and it's really dirty. So I'm gonna try to clean this up as best I can before I put it in the ski. Not that this does anything, but just, you know, just so it looks like I care about it. So yeah, there's that. All right guys, so for the next part of this process, you're gonna need an 8 mil on an extension to get to this oil line right here. You're gonna need this 12 millimeter wrench to get to this oil line down here at the bottom. And then you're gonna need a number 5 Allen socket head to get all the oil pump bolts out of there. There's a bunch of them. I like to use a hand tool on those bolts just because sometimes they could be corroded or rusted, and the last thing I need is to have to pull an engine out because I stripped an oil pump bolt and there's no way to get to it. So I'm gonna do that by hand, and I'm gonna zoom through this process. All right, so I'm getting these bolts taken out of this pump here.
My soda that you ordered.
Okay, bye. Alright guys, here is the oil pump housing. Got it all taken out. Doesn't look too bad. Want to clean it up, make sure the new gasket seat's really good on there. And we're gonna move on to pulling the rest of this mid gear out, rest of the clutch stuff, so keep it going. All right, so down in here you have a little collar that's got to get taken out of here. So what I do is I just hit this forward a little bit, and it should give you access to this collar. Alright, so there is the shaft that the mid gear runs on. Here is the mid gear, and the collar comes next. And here's the collar that we'll be replacing. Alright, so with the mid gear out, collar out, next thing we're gonna do is take the clutch out. So you're gonna need a special tool. This is to grab the Supercharger Clutch. Riva sells this tool, you could buy it directly from them. And this guy will actually come in here. It's gonna slide down inside, and then it'll grab the gears. There it is. So now that that's up there, propped against the wall, we could go ahead and grab the rest of the tools that we need. All right, back at the box, you're gonna need a 17 mil for the socket that holds the clutch on. And I like to use a junk old 3/8 torque wrench just to give me a little bit of leverage. Also, note that this bolt is reverse thread, so righty loosey, lefty tighty. All right, there's the bolt right there that holds the clutch onto the crank. And this will allow us to remove this clutch. First, you take off your tool. Then you have easy access to your clutch through the bottom. Should just pull right out, right straight ahead. There's your clutch. All right, guys, so back on the toolbox here. Here's the mid gear. This is the old one. The old Supercharger clutch, new mid gear. Just to show you guys, the old clutch, you could tell it's bad because it'll spin this way and it'll spin the other way. So this guy is completely bad. There's no fixing this. It's basically just get a new one and go from there. So the new one, you'll see it spins that way. It does have some resistance, but it does not spin the other way at all. This is a Sprag clutch. It's only designed to spin one way and lock the other way. So that's good. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna throw some oil on this. I'm gonna stick it back in the ski and bolt everything back together. So I just like to get a little bit of oil, throw it in here so we don't start it up dry, and just get it worked into the clutch basically. All right, so back on the table we go. The next thing you want to do is make sure you get the gasket all cleaned off of here on the back of the oil pump housing, so when you apply your new gasket, it doesn't leak. So once you get that all covered, you can see I already cleaned up the supercharger, so it looks a lot better than what it did as before. This line unfortunately is still kind of ugly, but it'll work. It'll still seal, won't leak. And then also make sure you replace the gasket. It's a rubber gasket that goes on the bottom. That one gets changed as well when I do the clutch. And then your oil lines have these little washers. These are actual seals, so you have to change those as well. So once I get this gasket put on here, I'm gonna just throw some silicone on this oil pump gasket just to keep it in place so it doesn't slide around when I'm installing it. And then I'll throw some assembly lube onto the this shaft here for the mid gear. That way it doesn't start up dry and score it up. So we'll get to that, and I'll run you guys over to the ski once I get it going. All right, so next thing we're gonna install is gonna be the clutch. So as you can see, it's got some oil in there. That's just because I don't want it to start up dry. and you could hear how smooth it is, and it definitely locks the other way. So this is fairly simple. Just gotta slide it right back on the way you took it off. All right, so just make sure you don't mess up this oil line here. So you could go around it or in front of it, whatever makes you feel more comfortable. I usually lay it down in there and then I come back in and grab it in. All right, so that's pretty much locked in position there. Bolt here that holds the clutch down. And remember, it's lefty tighty, righty loosey, as weird as that sounds. So next thing you're gonna want to do is grab your tool that holds the supercharger in place. Alright. So once you get that, make sure you get your torque wrench, set it to the proper spec, and you could go ahead and torque down that that main bolt for the supercharger. Alright, now with the clutch installed, you could go ahead and remove your gear here, your tool that holds the gear. And we could begin on setting up that mid gear. So first thing we're gonna do is install this bad boy. This is kind of sketchy because you potentially could drop this inside of the engine. And haven't really found a good way to do this, but just do it. And if it works, it works. If not, we gotta figure it out later. There it is. But once you get it, you get it. So from there, we're gonna go ahead and drop in the mid gear. Slide that collar in. There you go. You see one way it spins, the other way locks. Now we know we got a good clutch in there, the mid gear, all that stuff's brand new, so you shouldn't have any issues with that whole assembly from now on. Next thing we're going to be doing is the oil pump. We're going to go ahead and put that back in. As you can see, the gasket's on here. The silicone's holding it nice and firm, so that way it doesn't fall off or anything once I get it squished down into this really tight area. So this weekend, I don't know if anybody's a sports fan out there that's on the channel, but I'm a sports fan, and we had Kobe Bryant pass away in a helicopter accident, and it was pretty much a shock because you don't expect that. It's such a young, successful person to just to die out of nowhere, but death doesn't care who you are. When it's your time, it's your time. But it was definitely a shock. We saw him playing basketball when I grew up, so I'm not a huge basketball guy. I'm more of a football guy, but still, it's a sports figure that you look up as an idol or something. But yeah, that was pretty shocking. And rest in peace, Kobe Bryant, and to all the others that lost their lives on that helicopter as well. So on that note, I'm at the annoying part, so I'll catch you guys when I'm done. Alright, so here's the charger. As you can see, I cleaned it up pretty good. As much as it's gonna get cleaned, it's pretty corroded. So just threw some WD on there and wire brushed it, but it's the best I could do. Here's a new gasket underneath. As you can see, it's all silicone in place so it won't fall out as you're trying to position everything in there. Alright guys, well, this is our issue now. I got the charger back on the ski, connected everything up, went to start it, and this guy decided it was time to leak right now. So we're gonna have to go to Aeroquip or Hydraulic Supply and see if they can make us this. If not, we're gonna have to call Riva and order up a new line. Hopefully they sell them just by themselves, because it'll suck if he has to buy a whole shaft kit. But that's that.
Nothing that exaggerated and not work.
Yeah, I can't stand you, dog.
What happened, man?
Point the camera at you, bro.
What?
Show them what you're eating.
Eating a banana.
Oh.
There it is. So we're gonna go ahead and get this bad boy installed onto the charger, and then we're gonna go ahead and move over to the ski and put it in there, and hopefully no oil leaks. All right, guys, went ahead and put our new oil line in, which you can see right here. It is not leaking anymore. We got the supercharger all bolted down. I went ahead and put the intercooler bracket back on. Also, this ski is going to be getting an oil change while it's here, so I went ahead and replaced the oil filter right there, and we're going to move on to changing all the spark plugs, and she should be ready to roll. Alright guys, now that we got the spark plugs all back in, we're going to go ahead and move along and put on the air filter and then our charge pipe and our intake pipe. That way we can get this thing out of here today. You can see we got the charge pipe hooked up from the charger to the intercooler and the air intake from the charger to the air filter element here. And I got all the spark plugs changed. It's got new oil in it, new filter. So we're going to go ahead and start it up. I've been charging the battery because it was dead, so I think we're good enough to start now. Let's see how she sounds. Alright, so everything sounds as it should. Sounds like the supercharger was making some boost, no oil leaks. So we're good to go. Next is water test. Alright guys, looks like we got the ramp completely to ourselves. Got this SHO down here. We're gonna test, put on the water, make sure everything's good before we give it back to the customer. Alright, we're about out of the idle zone now. So everything looks good in here. There's no leaks, there's no oil leaks or anything. So I'm gonna go ahead and give her some throttle and see if it runs good. Everything went well, so we're gonna go ahead and take this back to the shop. I'm gonna clean it up, go ahead and call my customer, tell them to come and grab it, and that'll be pretty much a done deal for the day. Alright guys, so we're back at the shop. I went ahead and got this thing all wiped down, cleaned up, called the customer. He's gonna come by and pick it up. So we're probably gonna call it a day here. Alright guys, so we're pretty much back at the shop, and this is going to be the end of the episode today. Next episode, I'm going to go ahead and tell you all about this guy right here. 2013 RX PX 260. It is turbocharged. This is my daily driver. I ride it everywhere I go, and it's my favorite ski. So yeah, next episode, just make sure I'm going to have this one in there, full feature, let you guys know everything about it, because I do plan on selling it very soon. One thing that I am going to be doing is at 500 subscribers, I'm going to give away a free sand docker. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, share it, tell your friends, tell everybody about the channel, and as soon as 500 subscribers hit, I'm going to go down the list, everybody that's on the channel, and I'm going to handpick one of you guys, and I'm going to send you out a sand docker.